Being an adult has its high points. You can eat ice cream for dinner or lunch or breakfast and, hog the bathroom because you ate ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you can hog that bathroom because you pay for it. But it's not all fun. You also have to do your taxes, figure out what's for dinner besides that ice cream, and make doctor's appointments. And for that one, there is ZocDoc, the healthcare app that makes being an adult that much easier. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skincare, and much more. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within just 24 hours. Well, it's 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can score same-day appointments, too. And I've told you guys time and time again, I use ZocDoc for everything. My primary care physician, one that told me that I have carpal tunnel, right? When I had that horrible jaw pain, I went to a dentist that I found on ZocDoc. It's just, when I had some feet cramping issues, and so I did go to it, but I did find them through ZocDoc, and you're like, they're a foot doctor, yes, and it's just kind of, like when you get into soccer, and then a nail goes missing, and then everything kind of goes awry foot-wise, so yeah, I was just checking because I'm turning 30, but all doctors I found throughout the years on ZocDoc, love it, right? So to stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/BCC to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/BCC. ZocDoc.com/BCC.
Welcome to the chain! Wednesday, and it's the BCC Club. My name's Kendahl and Sarah, and I'm here with my cousin,
Sarah Shower. We are, if this is your first time joining us, we are shooting in Greenville, South Carolina. Go Greenville! No, we're in Los Angeles. I'm so sorry. We were just in a good mood, and when you gotta get silly.
You gotta get silly.
But this is the BCC Club where each week we go down a big old internet rabbit hole. So loosen up, ladies, because we're going in.
Loosen up.
Sorry.
Get loose, because here we go. This week we're talking about Ballerina Farms.
Yes, I have heard of it. Kendahl is the expert, though. It's when I first heard of it, I actually confused it with there's a ongoing murder trial. Is this that?
No.
Oh.
Unless there's been a big update I didn't hear about.
Okay, because I could have sworn. Never mind. This is not that. But Kendahl will be our expert.
Well, Ballerina Farms, there's some drama on the internet.
Okay.
I have to.
I've got to fart. But I'll just suck mine back up.
That's disgusting.
Well, it didn't come out.
That's disgusting.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. That error is captured in my... Never mind. Sorry, guys. We are not getting gross here.
Loosen up.
Yeah, loosen up.
Ballerina Farms is a woman on TikTok who has a lot of followers. She's like 18 million followers, something. It says right here. Let's see. Yeah, 18 million followers across social media. And it's because she is a quote-unquote trad wife.
Yeah.
If you don't know what a trad wife is, it's just like traditional wife. They are rich. But she went viral for basically making everything from scratch. She's kind of like a more homely feeling Nara Smith.
Homely means ugly.
No, but I mean like comfort. Like more like, but I guess that is what I mean. She's very beautiful. She's not ugly. Yeah. But she wears like, Nora Smith is in like gowns, but this woman was kind of the OG of like making things from scratch.
Yeah.
And like she would have these videos that would go viral of her in her little house that looks very much like it's from the 1800s. And she would make bread by going and getting milk from her cows. And then she would make butter. And then she would make it all from scratch. And she has like 18 kids running around in the background of her videos. And it just seems like something from way long ago. So Pippa became obsessed. Pippa's a woman who loves Ballerina Farms. No, people became obsessed with this. And then she briefly got quote unquote canceled. She wasn't canceled, but people gave her a lot of hate because they found out. Someone was like, just so you guys know, this woman is not like poor, which is laughable to me because it's so clear she's not poor. I'm like, this is how poor people maybe lived in the 1800s.
Yeah.
But if you're poor, you don't own a farm. I don't know. That's not a thing that people, whatever.
Well, poor people do own farms, but not like this.
But not like this.
Yeah.
It's not a farm in which, although I do think she sells products now. Like they have like a farm share box you can get. My point is, she's not mass producing products. She owns like a farm because she like lived in New York and then moved here, and she's like very beautiful, and she just like spends her days making
bread.
Baked goods. It's not really giving poor person to me. Mm-hmm. But people kind of came for her because someone was like, just so you guys know, the oven she has in the back is worth like $40,000.
Yeah.
Which to me, I'm like, I don't understand when celebrities get hate for that, because I'm like, she's not really a celebrity, but I'm like, if you're rich, to me, the best thing you could do would be like, I'm going to move to the middle of nowhere and be 100% sustainable and make everything from scratch and buy a really bougie oven from this business and make everything. Like, to me, I'm like, that's what we want rich people to do.
Yeah.
So I didn't really understand the hate. Also, I'm like, she's not pretending to be poor. Mm-hmm. That's not a thing. And people, I will see that on the comments, are like, she just cosplays as a poor person. I'm like, that's not really what this is giving me. Yeah,
I think it's well, I mean, the thing is she is like, you know, she's a fairly attractive white woman with a husband, living on a farm, 8 kids. She's a beauty pageant person. Like, she is what would be like, I guess, the American dream. Like, if you bought all the propaganda, you're like Ballerina Farms, you know? But like, I guess this is a culture of like hero worship. So you kind of see yourself in the people that you uplift. And so I guess people didn't really look too closely at the ovens and the really nice barn. They thought, oh, this is something that I can do. And so then now the illusion has been broken.
Maybe that's what was the frustration, is that people were like, this is how I want to live my life.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you can't do all of this, is so expensive.
Yeah.
And you can get a sourdough starter and keep it in your window of your apartment, but you can't do what this woman does because it costs millions of dollars. But so she got a little bit of hate for that. And now she's in some new controversy. But before we get into that, Sarah, how was your week?
It was good. I finished 6 books this past month because it was Disability Pride.
Do you have a Goodreads?
I have a Storygraph.
Okay.
It's just Sarah Shower. If you guys want to follow it, it's just please, because the thing is not a lot of people like reading nonfiction. Yeah. So everyone's like, "Can I read?" And I'm like, "Yes," because I need to know if I understood this part.
Yeah.
So if you give me feedback and you're like, "Actually, Sarah, I read what you said, and that's not what they're saying," I'm like, "Thank you," because it feels like I'm part of a class discussion.
Yes, totally. And if you like lesbian romances, go follow my Goodreads,
which is
just my name, I'm pretty sure,
Kendahl Landreth. If you're not, but and so I read Disability Pride. I read Against Techno-Ableism, which is the intersection of disability and innovation, because a lot of people who design like prosthetics or something or wheelchairs, they don't actually talk to. There's some little notification that keeps popping up.
I'm sorry, I just made sure it didn't.
I'm going crazy over here. You're getting text messages and I'm seeing them on the pewter.
They're coming up on the screen.
Yeah, a little error. You talking shit about us to your girlfriend?
On the computer.
It's not my computer.
Okay, sure.
Who are you texting?
I think, does it look like text message?
No.
It says Sarah's Roots.
Yeah.
Or no.
Okay. I'll put the computer on Do Not Disturb. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's so funny if Rebecca was shitting on us, but just our looks. Like, not that we're annoying. I think she was just like, they're ugly.
It says no network detected. So I don't know what you got to do to shut that off. But we got the attention span of 2 little rabbits. So you need to do that for us. We were rudely interrupted. What was I even talking about?
You were saying, you're talking about Disability Pride and prosthetics.
Yes.
Someone who makes a prosthetic.
People like who design like prosthetics or wheelchairs, or like they don't consult actual disabled people. So they're like, this is what they want. It's like, actually, we don't want that. Like, I was reading, actually, I can't get into it. And then the next one was my favorite book by Frances Sue. It's Mathematics for Human Flourishing. It's going to be in my top 3 this year. If you're not good at math, still read it. Mathematics for Human Flourishing.
Okay.
It's a lot of life lessons. And then the next one was Smoke It's in Your Eyes. It's a lesson from the crematory. It's about like facing your own mortality. There it is.
Did you say that? Did you say that?
Did you see it?
We're not
I
crazy.
did not see it, but I believe you.
All right. Oh, and then I missed a book, Humor by Terry Eagleton, which is the philosophy of humor. So if any of you say that comedy is not political, you're a liar. Liar. Okay, and then
Ooh.
the last one was Unbuilt Walls by Silky Shaw, and it's why immigrant justice needs abolition. And it's talking about, the immigrant detention and mass incarceration. Believe it or
There it
not,
is.
you can actually fight two problems at once.
No.
You can.
No, you can't.
You can't. So I
We
love
got to do one, only one.
one at a time. Like the thing is who was I talking about? Like, okay, so in the book, like Unbuilt Walls, they were talking about how when COVID happened, it was awful for the prison system because, the spread of COVID, but then also the, work from home culture and using your computer, it actually made people accessing their lawyers and loved ones a lot easier because a lot of prisons are located in the boonies. And so, the accessibility, in the turning to, using your computer, you actually helped a lot of immigrants and people in immigrant detention. And so then I was reading about that in Disability Pride and Against Techno-ableism, where, if you make things more accessible, it's not just for disabled people. It's for everybody.
everybody.
Yeah, and that's why I say, okay, so we're talking about Ballerina Farm. If I'm giving advice to my audience, you guys are already disillusioned. You're not buying this crap. But I always stress audiobooks are accessible because I am an influencer, so I have more time than most people.
Yeah.
So if you don't have as much time as me, I want to give you the resource to still consume a large amount of books.
Big.
So that's I just read, and then this month is National Immunization Awareness Month, which I have a lot of topics I could go left and right on. I don't want to read about. I've read about COVID so much now, and then it's also Fat Acceptance Month, and so I have to find some books for that. But other than that, that's how I read.
Well, there you go. You want to know what I've read?
Yes, I do.
Because I'm proud of myself.
All right.
I read, I'm almost done with a book that was 900 pages.
Oh my
Sarah.
God, front and back.
What?
There was text on the front and the back.
And the back. No, they were 900 blank pages.
No, I meant
and I'm almost done.
Yes.
Front and back, 900 pages. And it's called Priory of an Orange Tree.
All right.
It's fantasy.
Okay.
And it is hard. It's a hard book. And I read it. And a lot of people online were like, this book is for really smart people.
What is it about?
It is about, what isn't it about? I mean, it's a lot because it's a
Yes.
fantasy novel. So it's all about these different countries, if you will, from this place. and
Yes.
How they're all fighting each other and have different religions.
Oh.
But why am I reading it, you might ask? Well, because there's a lesbian love story in it, of course.
Oh my God.
And we're 500 pages in, and they haven't even kissed yet. But it's pushing me along to know that maybe they might. But it's the queen and the bed maiden.
Okay.
Once again, which I found is a common theme in multiple fantasy lesbian novels that I like.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like the queen and then this kind of rough around the edges bed maiden that is not like other bed maidens and tells the queen the truth. And the queen's like, okay, you're kind of rude, but I kind of like it.
Yeah.
And then it's like the bed maiden is the only one they trust. And then, well, we know what the bed maiden does in the bed.
Oh, I love that because I am picturing a bed maiden with a classic 17th century garb and a little blonde buzz cut.
But this one has dragons too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
It's fun. It's very good. It's a lot though. And I
Yeah.
am kind of like, this did not need to be 900 pages.
No.
No way.
But I mean, I guess lesbian slow burns are so painful. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
It's nice though. But I also like the being gay isn't really ever talked about. Like they don't care. No one cares that people are gay in it. They're not allowed to date for other reasons, but them being gay isn't really discussed. And I will say, it being so long is a different experience in itself because I
Yeah.
feel like I've been reading this book
Mm-hmm.
I started it last week and I'm on page maybe 600, but it's like, it feels like I've been reading this book for 8 years.
Yeah.
So it really transforms you into a person of this world.
Yeah. Someone cultured, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that. And then, of course, after that, I'm going to read, I already bought it. I'm going to read Fourth Wing.
Okay.
which I feel like is very popular.
I feel like I see it a lot on Book Talk, but I hear it's good.
We'll see. It feels like the exact thing that I would read. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. I also just got a book called, I haven't read yet. I was going to read it on my birthday trip, but I had to postpone because I had COVID.
Yes.
But-
Have?
I have COVID. No, I had COVID. I had COVID. I haven't. I'm way past the 10-day mark. I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm not testing positive for COVID. I'm fine. But I was going to go to Mexico.
Okay.
And then I had to postpone my birthday, which, if you know me, I'm a Leo, and that's not good.
It seems targeted.
It seems targeted, yes. But I got this book called The Ride of Her Life.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what it's about, but it's got 2 girls in cowboy hats on the front, and I said, purchased.
Yeah.
I don't know how many. Also, every time at Barnes & Nobles, they go, do you want to use your points? And I go, save them. And I'm like, I don't know why, but in my head, I have $1,000 of Barnes & Noble's points left.
I do love the idea of like saying that threateningly. Save them.
You'll need them.
I'll be
you
back.
will need them.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been doing this week.
Good. I had something to respond to what you said, but we just been reading a lot.
Writing, working. I've been doing a lot of work. I had COVID. I mean, I was sick.
Yeah. Did you get a nice, did you relax a bit?
I did. And my birthday was actually really fun. My girlfend made it
Did
really
I
special.
just miss your birthday?
It's today.
It is?
No. It was Sunday.
Kendahl, what? I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I don't care.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. I actually had a good birthday because I was going to go to Mexico.
Uh-huh.
They got postponed, and then you forgot to wish me happy birthday, and then it was just I'm just kidding. But my fiance made it very special where I made a list of all my favorite movies.
Yeah.
And we got takeout for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which was very fun.
That's really nice.
And we just watched my favorite movies all day. But they were my favorite movies, so I'd already seen them.
Yeah.
So I also like was able to read kind of while they were in the background. So it's just very relaxing day.
Oh yeah, I love that.
You know, being an adult has its high points. You can eat ice cream for dinner or lunch or breakfast and, hog the bathroom because you ate ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you can hog that bathroom because you paid for it. But it's not all fun. You also have to do your taxes, figure out what's for dinner besides that ice cream, and make doctor's appointments. And for that one, there is ZocDoc, the healthcare app that makes being an adult that much easier. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skincare, and much more. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within just 24 hours. Well, 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can score same-day appointments too. And I've told you guys time and time again, I use ZocDoc for everything. My primary care physician, told me that I have carpal tunnel, right? When I had that horrible jaw pain, I went to a dentist that I found on ZocDoc. It's just, when I had some feet cramping issues, and so I did go to it, but I did find them through ZocDoc, and you're like, they're a foot doctor, yes. And it's just kind of, like when you get into soccer, and then a nail goes missing, and then everything kind of goes awry foot-wise. So yeah, I was just checking because I'm turning 30, but all doctors I found throughout the years on ZocDoc. Love it, right? So to stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/BCC to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/BCC. ZocDoc.com/BCC.
When I want to work, I put on The Conjuring, and then the entire series because I know how it goes.
Crazy.
Well, I mean, it's. But I'm so sorry that I missed.
It's okay.
I'm gonna make you collage when I get home.
Collage?
Yeah.
Thanks, Sarah.
I'm so sorry.
Oh my God, no.
Oh, another thing. I have jury duty coming up.
I have jury duty coming up.
You have jury duty?
Wait, that's so weird.
When do you have to check in?
Wait, what day is yours?
I have to check in on Friday, but then it's next week.
I have to look at mine. I think that might be mine.
We might be on the same trial.
Are we in the show jury duty?
Are you? Wait. Are we on the show jury? That is.
The reason this birthday was really rough was because I was like obviously so excited to go to Mexico. I've never been. I was just like so excited. And I love my birthday. Like I go big on my birthday. My birthday is really big for me.
Yeah.
And I just love my birthday so much. And so I was really excited about it. And I got COVID and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like I have to postpone this Mexico trip. And I was so sad. And at first I thought I was going to have to cancel it because the hotel was like, we don't know if we can move it. But there is a cancellation fee. So I thought not only was I not going to be able to go to Mexico, I was going to have to pay the cancellation fee of $600 just to do nothing. Like just to pay. Like that's my birthday present.
Yeah.
And then when I found out that when I got my COVID test back and it was like, you're positive. In that moment, my roommate Charles came home and he goes, Kendahl, you've got a little letter. And he gave it to me and it was the jury duty thing. And I was like, this is the worst birthday ever. But I then was kind of like, I kind of hope I get to go.
Yeah.
Like I've never been able to do so. That's like kind of fun.
Yeah. If we're called to the same jury duty, I'm going to pretend like I don't know you.
Yeah.
I don't know how thorough their background checks are, but like that would be so fun.
Were you allowed to know other people on the jury?
Would that be a mistrial if we
That
don't?
feels like no, because I'm like, you're allowed to know other people on the jury.
I know, but
right?
we could like, work together, because it only takes one juror to like really mess up a murder trial.
Yeah, I know. And we assume we'll be doing a murder trial.
I mean, we're just tax evasion or something. I'll be like, fine.
Well,
I don't know if that's again. Well, let us know, guys, if we should attend the same jury.
if we have a choice. I feel like everyone I know who's ever gotten jury duty, though, never ends up getting to like actually do it.
Yeah.
They just like call and then, or they show up and they're like, okay, you can go home. But I kind of hope I get to do it.
I'm going to be like, I am of sound mind. I'm going to wear all beige. They're going to be like, what is your career? I'll be like, podcast host. I'm going to say BBC instead of BCC, so they assume.
Why do you get BBC?
Because I'm level-headed, right?
But I have to do BCC and you get BBC. Everyone's gonna think you're way just so famous, and they're gonna be like, Kendahl does a little podcast, and then Sarah's on the BBC.
I don't know. I just have to be respectable, and I'm nearing 30, so they have to choose me. You know?
Speaking of the BBC, anytime someone comes up to me about our podcast and it's like, I listen to your podcast, they always say the BBC.
Yeah.
And it really makes me laugh. People always go, oh my God, I love the BBC. I'm like, me too. It's a great news source.
We should just like rebrand to like NPR or like something like that. I don't know.
I just really hope that misinformation carries to my hometown where people are like, yeah, Kendahl, she does the BBC. And everyone's like, Kendall's a journalist for the BBC? That's insane.
Yeah, that would be really nice.
We are talking about Ballerina Farms today.
Yeah, no transition. You didn't get one, but we're talking about Ballerina Farms.
So I left you on a cliffhanger earlier of Hua.
Yes.
She's in the midst of controversy now.
Okay.
What has happened was she had an interviewer come to her house from the Times, I believe it was.
Okay.
And she was like, they're just going to be doing a piece on our home and our homestead life and what it's like living on Ballerina Farms and whatever. And then this article comes out, and the article pretty much alluded to the fact that Ballerina Farms was trapped.
Oh.
She was trapped on this farm in a very sad situation. She talks a lot about how Ballerina Farms used to be a ballerina in New York City. That's where her and her husband met.
Yeah.
She was this amazing ballerina, so talented, was going to be so famous and successful. And then her husband and her decided to move to this farm. She has pushed out 8 children, and they are not done, according to Ballerina Farms, having children. And and it just became this thing on TikTok of people being like, save Ballerina Farm. She is stuck on this farm with this horrible man, and she doesn't want to be there. She wants to be a ballerina. And everyone was using like the sounds, that song, the Labor song. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Where it was kind of like, she just saying that she didn't ever get to do what she wanted to do because she is doing this lifestyle and she's stranded. And then it came out, it said all she wanted for her birthday was a trip to Greece. And then this video comes out of what her husband got her for her birthday, and he got her an apron to put eggs in. And people thought that was just like really upsetting because all she wanted was a trip to Greece, and instead she got a little apron to carry eggs for more housework. And it just became this huge thing of people sharing videos of her to the sad music where she's holding a baby, but she's kind of zoning out and she looks so exhausted and tired. And then she then got really mad and posted a video being like, this is ridiculous. My husband's amazing. I love my life. This was such a targeted, weird article, whatever. And so people are kind of torn on it. Initial thoughts?
Okay, so I'm gonna read an article just so I can get I understand what you're saying. We're in a partnership, Hannah says in the recording. I don't feel like I'm at home raising kids by myself. We really carry the mantle together. First off, okay, I trust Hannah. That's a lie. I understand that your husband is great, but there's no way in hell that you as a trad wife, traditional wife, you adopt the role of a traditional motherhood, and that does foist most of the labor on you. Yes, your husband does do stuff probably, but I don't think that you don't. Yeah. And then she also said there are so many comments from women who have been so corrupted by modern feminists that they just cannot fathom that a woman could actually find it empowering and freeing to lean into her femininity and the things that make her special. Okay, so then I'm forming an opinion. Modern feminists, which means she does have, I would say, there's a lot of, this is her choice. 8 children, though, and then raising them. I do feel bad for her, but she's also an adult who made her own bed. Her grandfather or something, started JetBlue. So she's not actually trapped financially. If she was trapped financially, this is the thing. There's also a class argument going on. If she was poor, right, from the jump, or there's a lack of education, I would be more concerned with her, and I'd probably come to her defense. And if she fought people on that, I would honestly still probably defend her. The fact that she does have the resources, I would say I think that she's just bought into some propaganda, and she's yet to be disillusioned.
Well, but what I will say though is, there's nothing wrong with what she's doing. So I think it's I'm sure her and I probably wouldn't agree on a lot of things in maybe a discussion about feminism.
Yeah.
But I'm a feminist, and I also believe, and she might be, I don't know if she, but I am I also believe she should, that doesn't mean we all have to be girl bosses. What she's doing is great too. I am just I think it's hard for people to, sorry, this is a long thought, I feel but as a person who went, a lot of people talked about how she went to school to be a ballerina.
Yeah.
And she lived in New York, and she was this amazing ballerina. And I think sometimes there's this misunderstanding of how this industry is a little bit. Where it's just because you went to Juilliard, which I think maybe a lot of people aren't in this industry would be well, Juilliard, if you're an actor at Juilliard, you're going to be famous. And it's no, most people who go to Juilliard are not famous. I was in improv classes with tons of people who went to Juilliard. They're not famous. They're not. Yeah. And they're not even. Some of them aren't even that talented. It's not and not those. I don't have any specific people in mind, but it doesn't mean anything. It's I went to an acting school with 300 other actors.
Yeah.
Very talented.
Mm-hmm.
None of them have.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak for all of them. I don't know where all of them are at. I would say I don't really know anyone who's booked almost anything.
Yeah.
This industry is just absolutely impossible. And I honestly feel there is some strength and maturity to at a certain age being you know what? There's other things in life I would also want to do besides just self-taping until I am dead.
Yeah.
And so I'm I think there's this kind of assumption that Ballerina Farms was 2 steps away from Broadway.
Yeah.
And maybe that's true. And either way, it's her choice. But I have a feeling that's not what it was. No matter how talented you are, she probably went to school with so many really talented people. She probably wasn't the most talented dancer in her class. There's just so many artists trying to do this, and it is a very hard life. And I think it totally makes sense to me if she wanted to be a mom to get married and be actually, maybe if we both don't need money, we should just move to the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I get that. I don't think that's that crazy. Whereas I think people are kind of being if she hadn't changed her life, she would be the most famous ballerina. And I'm she probably wouldn't be.
Yeah.
She'd probably be on Actors Access right now trying to get flash mob jobs. That is what I assume would be happening.
Yeah.
So it's just a little, sometimes I think there is this misunderstanding of this industry a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I think And I mean, you don't even have to be like a professional, like, or go pro when you're a ballerina, but like, it's still, I think that arguing like what she could have been, I actually do have to revise this statement. Hannah's father-in-law, David Nealman, is the founder of multiple airlines, including JetBlue. So, and their apparent generational wealth. Actually, this does kind of change my argument, but the thing is whether, yes, like abusers do like isolating you in the middle of nowhere, baby trapping you, there is a huge power imbalance in the fact that one has likely billions of dollars. And they are a Mormon influencer. So most of anyone who's hearing this past experience with anyone with multiple kids on the internet, you're like immediately, someone is in danger. And the thing is like, you can't, Mormonism and also like any like sort of ideology, like traditional wife is a belief system. And I mean, trying to convert someone is the hardest thing in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, alcoholism is not a belief system, but it's a lifestyle. And most people are like, how do I make someone I love stop being an alcoholic? Dude, it's only you can do that. So trying to wake her up or like force her to, it will probably push her farther away, which is the unfortunate truth.
But so you think she's in like a bad situation?
Okay.
Because to me, I've always been like, she seems fine.
Yeah.
And she might not be. Like, that's one of those situations that, like, there's no way to know. I guess I look at every single couple on the internet and assume that I don't know what's going on behind closed doors, whether that be any couple. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. If someone told me this person was in a bad relationship, I wouldn't be surprised because I have no idea what's going on in their life. So in an equal way that I believe maybe they could also be in a bad situation, I'm also like, it seems like she does like doing this stuff. Like, she started this thing. She gets very expensive appliances to make all her home-cooked meals, raising all of these children. And I'm like, and I don't know, but I can only go by what she said, which is that she really likes doing it. And, like, she's Mormon.
Yes.
That's, like, a part of being Mormon. Like, that's what she believes. If she wants to have a bunch of kids, do I have thoughts on that? Yeah, I don't think you should be able to have that many kids.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, yeah, that makes sense to me why and people can care about multiple things at once. So it's like if you're a dancer, but then your Mormon values are really important to you, you just simply cannot be a dancer in New York City till you're 45. If you want to live a Mormon lifestyle like she probably wanted to.
Yeah.
And so it's probably like not a choice between one thing she likes and one thing she has to do. Probably just a choice between two things that are hard to coexist together.
Yeah. I mean, they got married and quickly started a family, first living together in New York City as she finished school before moving to a ranch 30 miles outside Salt Lake City. Okay, so, I mean, the thing is objectively, every single one of these things is a red flag. I'm not going to argue whether or not she's in danger. But I mean, like, okay, Mormonism, right? And I'm sorry, like, it's great, but immediately starting to have kids after pursuing your dream career, isolating in the middle of nowhere with your husband, 8 children, your husband comes from a lot of money. You're forced to live a picture-perfect existence. Yeah, I think all of these things would scare the crap out of me if it were me in this scenario. But what do we want to achieve? Like, Will yelling at this woman, actually, because the thing is the same thing. Like, if she is in danger, right, and you call her out on it, her husband is like, if he is a threat to her, he can be threatening to her. And so now she is going to have to come out and defend him. Because, like, if she doesn't, that puts, like, reasonable doubt in people's minds. And he knows that if he is a predator. And these are all, like, what would we like to achieve from this?
Well, that's the thing. It's all just ifs. It's like, I have no idea what's going on in this house. I have literally no idea. I have no way of knowing anything, good or bad.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a weird discourse. And I think it also felt a little bit kind of like it was giving Barbie movie a little bit, where there were just so many edits of this, like, white woman doing ballet and on her farm, and people being like, she was so close. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I really don't care if this white woman gets to be a ballerina. I like really don't care. Like most people don't get to be ballerinas. Like that's not a job that is, I mean, I would say it's one of the jobs that is like more hard to achieve anything in than acting. Like it's like the only other job I could think of that I'd be like, I don't even know where you'd work as a ballerina. You have about 2 options. You could be in the Nutcracker or you can be in the ballet. I don't know more. I have no, I don't really know what else you could do. So while it's like and so we're just like making a damsel, would that be the right word?
Yeah.
Or is that offensive to say? I don't know.
No.
That word was in my prior of an Orange Tree book, so I've just learned it.
It's the other D slur, damsel.
They were kind of making this like, victim out of a woman who is so rich, living on a very nice farm, making all her food from scratch with children. If she doesn't want to be doing that, yeah, that would be a victim. But like, there's so many assumptions happening that it's kind of like, out of all the people on this world that we could be making edits to feel bad about, I don't know if this woman is maybe the most. I think people just really can't even process how many people are trying to be artists.
Yeah.
And how many people are not successful. And like every town has the most talented actor. And that person goes and usually never books a single thing.
Yes.
And there's just millions of those people all over. The best dancer at every dance studio, the best whatever. And it's just nothing happens. So I'm like, I don't know. To me, she was able to obviously afford to go like try to live her dreams.
Yeah.
And then when that didn't work out, she was able to move to one of her other dreams. She seems okay. And once again, if she came out and was like, I'm not okay, that'd be different. But it doesn't feel like, it just feels a little bit kind of like, do we really care? There's so many people going through so much.
I like how we're both caught on different points. You're like the talent aspect, which is legit. I agree with what you're saying. And I'm like, realistically, she could be in danger.
Well, because usually people don't care. It's like there are so many women on the internet who are moms of a bunch of kids, who I don't agree with usually politically, who I don't agree with on a lot of stuff, who I would not be friends with in real life.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I don't think about their well-being because I'm like, yeah, I assume whoever you're married to, I would not get along with. Like, I look at like Cecily Buchanan. Do you know her?
No.
She's like a pastor's wife on the internet. Mm-hmm. I assume her husband would say things that I would disagree with. I assume he's probably sexist. I assume, and those are assumptions, but just given the vibe, I would assume those things. But no one's like, she's in danger, she's in danger. Nobody's saying that. With Ballerina Farms, it felt like there was this, what made it go viral was that people were like, she was gonna be a ballerina.
Yeah.
She was gonna be a famous ballerina, a thing that doesn't exist unless you're a dancer. Can you name one ballerina? I can't. Not to put you on the spot.
No, sorry, no.
No, I don't know.
Wait, Tate McRae?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they're
Wait,
famous.
you literally love dance moms. What do you mean? Can you name a famous dancer?
Okay, that's true. I can name actually a lot of famous dancers, but I would venture to say those are famous reality TV stars.
Yeah.
I mean, Maddie Ziegler, but Maddie Ziegler, I would say is like probably one of the most famous dancers. Once again, not in the dance world. I'm sure if you're a dancer, you're like, are you kidding me? There's all these famous dancers.
Yeah.
But I'm like someone that like my mom. I always say my mom. My mom's actually pretty up to date with pop culture, but someone that like all of our parents would know. I'm like, Maddie Ziegler feels like the most famous dancer. She is not. She's a great dancer, but I don't even think she like really does that much dancing anymore. I wouldn't be like, she's the most amazing dancer. She's like the most famous dancer because she was like on Dance Moms and in the C music video. So I'm just saying, like the best ballerinas out there, I've like seen videos of, and I don't know their names because I'm not a dancer and it's a very like niche topic. So I'm like, Ballerina Farms was not going to be this famous ballerina. And that was where I feel like people, that's why it became such a big story because people were really like glorifying this idea of her being like taken from the wings of a Broadway stage by this man to this farm.
Yeah.
And she like every day wakes up and yearns to dance. And I'm just like, I don't think that is like what happened.
Yeah, I think it's like, I mean, obviously I panic when a female celebrity at the height of her career gets pregnant. And that is her choice and that's great for her. But it's like, sometimes you feel like dudes want to trap you there. But I mean, she did also start producing, and I do want to read some of the quotes. just so we can get all on the, okay, since Hannah is so selective about what parts of her life she shares with the world, the Times profile introduced a new apparent cracks in her flawless facade, which generated concern from the audience. Is this an empowering new model of womanhood or a hammer blow for feminism, the article asked. Writer Megan Agnew spent a day on the farm with the influencer and her family. Hannah met her husband the summer before her final year at Juilliard, a prestigious school. Yeah. They got married and quickly decided to start a family, first living together in New York City as she finished school. Before a move. Okay, so the thing is I gotta explain. Christians move fast. Mormons are a branch, but the thing is like Christians and lesbians are neck and neck for moving in.
That ballerina wanted to bone.
Yeah, so I mean, you're like, that's fast. That's fast for a normal straight couple. For a lesbian or someone who's of the Mormon faith, buddy, no, that is real. So it's interesting.
It's also, from what I know, in a Mormon relationship, your marriage is very valued as like, I think I come from a place where it's like, my parents didn't make me feel like the most important thing was for me to get married. I didn't feel like my worth was in the fact that I need to get married. So I pushed really hard for a career, and now I'm, in a relationship, but that never felt like something that was like, I mean, there were points in my life where it was like, I don't want to be in a relationship because that is going to distract me from what I'm trying to do. Versus like, if you meet someone who's also a Mormon in New York City, which first of all, that's already like, well, we probably should get married because I'm not going to meet anyone else.
It's fate, yeah.
They meet, I'm like, it feels like something you want and should do quickly because it feels like the quicker you get married, the quicker you can start like serving your
cunt.
On a silver platter.
Sorry.
On a silver Mormon platter, you can serve your cunt to this man as quick as possible and start having children, which is what you're taught that you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. She said her goal was to move to New York City, left home at 17. I was excited to get there. I love the energy. I was going to be a ballerina. I was a good ballerina. But I knew that when
Not great.
Okay. Kendahl, she's not. Okay, but I knew that when I started to have kids, my life would start to look different. Agnew wrote that Daniel and the children frequently, quote, corrected, interrupted, or answered for Hannah. One such instant repeatedly went viral. Quote, our first few years of marriage were really hard. We sacrificed a lot, she says. But we did have this vision, this dream, and Daniel interrupts, we still do. Okay. I'm going to say this. Yes. Are there an abundance of red flags? Yes. But the thing is, I feel, actually, I sound like a police officer. If no crime has been committed, if there is no body, I cannot send out an arrest warrant. Like,
especially for me, I'm a big interrupter.
Yeah.
I interrupt constantly.
Corrects me. I don't even, but okay. Agnew noted that the Nealman family doesn't have a nanny, though they do have child care when the couple goes out on dates. At one point, Daniel said Hannah sometimes becomes so sick with exhaustion that she can't get out of bed for a week.
See, she would have never made it as a professional ballerina.
Okay.
She doesn't have the stamina, Sarah.
A red flag. I mean, after 8 kids, it's hard to move. But like, okay, yes, another red flag. But there has been no crime. Another point of contention for readers is how Hannah and her husband talk about her births. Of her 8 kids, 6 were born at home without pain medicine. When her husband was not present during her Times interview, Hannah said she received only 1 epidural, which she described as, quote, great. Some expressed concern that she was being subjected to unmedicated births against her wishes, which is a growing concern among professionals. Okay. Yes, this is a red flag. You weren't allowed access to pain medication when you were giving birth to 6 of your 8 kids. And again, I say, there is no crime. I understand your concern is genuine. Like, this is like me watching a woman happily run naked while listening to music down the street in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Yes, she may feel scared or joy, but I cannot I cannot rush out to help her if I'm grabbing her and she's like, what? I'm still dancing.
And there's another half of this.
Yeah.
Where this man has done nothing wrong. Like, there is a world where, like, all of this, she just was like, no, I don't want to do an epidural. I don't want to do it. All of these things, there is a world. I'm not saying that's the world we live in.
Yeah.
But there could be a world where he literally is fine. And it's like, the accusations are, like, the trending hashtag, like hashtag save Ballerina Farms, as if people are like, we need to go get her. Like, we need to go get her. I'm like, this woman might be fully, like, you're accusing this man of being like a really scary man.
Yeah.
Based on like kind of no evidence. Do you know what I mean?
Well, there's
just a lot of kind of like, oh, that's weird. But I'm like, yeah, she's probably weird. They're both probably weird. They're Mormons with 8 kids who live in the middle of nowhere. That's not a person I'm going to be like, I'm sure she and I have a bunch in common. Like, they're probably both a little weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing of like, when someone lives this type of, I mean, the trad wife is, and like, you know, being on a farm, 8 kids, you know, living what American propaganda would sell you as correct, you do want to find some hole in the facade so you can like ration with it more, because seeing the actual propaganda come to life, you're like, that it doesn't make it, it doesn't. But the thing is we can't do anything. That's the sucky part. You can't convert people that easily. Talk to any Christian on a boardwalk with a bullhorn. It's so hard to yell at people and make them believe something. You gotta, unfortunately, wait until something happens.
You also can't be successful in this industry if you're a Republican.
Yes.
I'm trying to make, if Ballerina Farms really is listening and she wants to be a ballerina, I got some words for her.
Yeah.
You cannot be that successful in this industry unless you want to go on the Great American Family Channel, as my cousin did. Mm-hmm. If you're a Republican, and obviously there are outliers, but I saw that so much in acting school, where a girl who was like the best actress ever in her small town, and everyone was like, she's gonna be so famous, she would come to school and like say something offensive, and everyone was just like, ew. Like, every gay person was like, no.
Yeah.
And she would have no friends, and then would eventually go back home and teach drama at her local middle school, because it doesn't matter how talented you are. So much of this is like being friends with people. So I also like, maybe Ballerina Farms is not too popular within Juilliard.
It is impressive how much you want to drive home the point that she will not be a famous dancer.
She won't be.
Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding. No, I just think it's like I said,
yeah,
so many people have this exact scenario, and people are obsessed with the edits I've seen. You can look it up later. The edits are like all about her being a ballerina. Just like, she was so close to being a ballerina. And I feel like that's what's making people be this, like, because I think it's pulling on the heartstrings of parents who like wanted a life and then had kids, and that was taken from them.
Yeah.
But you also, in return, got to be a parent, which doesn't make it the grief less like so for a life you could have lived.
Yeah.
But you also made a choice, unless you didn't, and then that sucks. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But if you made the choice to have children, your life is going to be very different.
Yeah.
But like, sometimes I grieve the fact that I don't have children, because I've made a choice to probably not have children, because I'm like, I'm doing this other thing. And I'm going to travel and do this stuff instead of that. So you can't live every life. Sometimes I grieve because I'm not an ice skater. You know what I mean? And it's just like, well, can't do it. But we all pick our lives. And to me, when people are like, well, out these husbands, I'm kind of like, well, yeah, but this woman, of course, is going to marry a weird man, because like, she has sexist values.
Yes.
So she can't marry a feminist man.
No.
So what does that mean? She has to marry a sexist man who is, like, doesn't respect women. Like, that blows.
Yeah.
But she doesn't respect women.
Yeah.
So it's like, or she respects women in a way that I disagree, that I don't find to be respectful.
Yes.
So I think it's hard, where it's like, she probably, given some things I've read, it's like, she probably doesn't even think women should vote.
Yeah.
So now it's like, yeah, who is she going to marry?
I think we're infantilizing this woman to a massive degree. I think
Me?
No.
Oh, we.
No,
You and I?
Me, I think me is no. I think she is a grown woman who can make her own choices. I think they're so caught off guard by pretty skinny white blonde woman that they're like, she can't possibly know what she's agreeing to. And it's like, I actually think we need to wrap our mind around that. Some women, some white women, can agree to some pretty weird situations. Yeah, like, and you have to wait it out. Like, she's not a child. She's adult. She's, so what are we all, this is actually, she can't possibly make it in New York. And I am like, she isn't a consenting adult. Everyone reading everything is like, this is the nightmare scenario for most people. Yeah. But she's also not a child, you know? She decided to make bread in anthropology dresses in the middle of the woods surrounded by horses. I know that it's propaganda and we're all buying it looking at her follower count, but I'm saying like the Times person, I can't even open it because there's a paywall.
And we're not paying.
It's so, but yeah, like it seems like the New York Times writer came in, this is what the Ballerina Farm person, it was already had an angle that they wanted to portray, and they did. The thing is, it's very hard to neutrally present a trad wife or someone who doesn't believe in modern feminism.
Yeah.
Because right off the bat, it's going to be polarizing.
Yeah.
If you were like modern feminists, they don't make any sense. Pants.
Right.
Living in the big city, there's no way to. If your belief system is already like strongly opposed to the public, then there's actually no way to neutrally present what you're saying.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. I think the thing is it's hard to convert anyone. If someone is being brainwashed, if she has Stockholm syndrome, then yelling at her again won't do it. Right. So you're like, how do you get this woman out of there? You don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it comes out that it's a really bad situation, that's a different thing. But you can't incriminate someone who, that, you know what I mean? You can't just say, well, you can, I guess, but
yeah,
you can't just say this woman needs to be freed from this situation that I'm like, it looks fine. I don't really know. And yet there's a bunch of red flags to me.
Yeah.
But a lot of things that are red flags to me are not red flags to a Mormon family.
Yeah, I see a man, immediate red flag. I don't care if it's my father. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Red flag.
Yeah. No.
Free Sarah. But it's like the red flags are just not. If I was counting every red flag I watched when I watched a Mormon family vlogger, it would just be every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But those aren't red flags to them because they disagree with me. They have like a different opinion on the way the world should work.
Yeah.
I'm sure they think what I'm doing is a red flag.
Yeah. And but the thing is like, it's interesting how like someone has to be a victor and an aggressor in a situation. Like a victim, like, and so the wife would be assuming the role of the victim. But the thing is like people can, you know, you can rob a bank, like, you know, not like rob a bank. You can work together with someone, you know, like where someone's not the victim, they're actually aiding the, you know what I mean?
I think the husband would be a good ballerina.
I think, but it's just.
And I think he could make it. And he's being held back by her.
I think people can't wrap their mind around someone who's incredibly Mormon in today's day and age. And I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say to you.
Well, I also think it's hard for people to look at an influencer
Yeah.
who looks like they're living this wonderful life.
Yeah.
And to realize, oh, you probably wouldn't like this person if you met them in real life. Like, this person is, like, I think people, when they follow people on the internet, assume they would be really good friends with this person.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it's like, yeah, you probably wouldn't get along with them. Like, this woman probably disagrees with you on most things and is probably kind of annoying. I'm not saying that's true, but it's a possibility.
Yeah.
And so I think people were like, I mean, it was kind of like when the LeBrant family, they tried to cancel them for being pro-life. And I was like, you can't cancel them for being pro-life. That was so clear from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, what? I'm sorry, you're pro-choice and you've been following the LeBrant family? Like, what did you think they were? You thought they were standing on the side of the road with pro-gay signs? Like, absolutely not. Like, this family is living, breathing, conservative.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same with Ballerina Farms. And she's even open about it. I don't think she's trying to hide it. She's just kind of like, yeah, this is what I do. So I think sometimes it's hard for people to realize that sometimes people just live differently from you and you can disagree with it, but it doesn't mean that they want out of that situation.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, the only thing harder than raising 8 kids is being a professional ballerina. Because it is hard. It is really hard.
Yeah.
I've never done it, but I've seen photos of feet that have been in point shoes, and I'm not pleased.
Yeah, and so I'd also present this, and this is just me guessing. So ballerina, there's obviously a lot of skill to it, but it also heavy emphasis on aesthetics, like clean lines, like, you know, like tidiness. And so, I mean, like, she is communicating that with her social media. So, like, I mean, she still gets to, and Sarah, you're like, this is very, I understand, but like, she has some sort of, clean aesthetic thing that she is continuing.
Yeah.
And so I'm only making this argument because nothing has been done. But she also said she was shocked by the Times article, called it an attack on our family and my marriage, portraying me as oppressed and my husband being the culprit. I think the thing is because she doesn't have some like attitude that's like, look at me, I'm better than you, people are assuming that she's oppressed. But I always think of it as like, okay, so I was raised in a military family, and there's something, dependence, there's this thing in the military where like women who are married to like guys in the military, they're like, you will address me by my husband's rank, or like, they're like, my husband's an officer. And the thing is like they are participating as well in hero worship, where their proximity to what the Americans have exalted as true and right and correct and perfect, like they also get something out of that.
Yeah.
And this woman is not like, since she's not giving out an attitude that says kneel before me, everyone's like, whoa. The thing is, she is a consenting adult who may also enjoy the proximity and the aesthetic of what is being presented here. And now the choice is yours. Do you want to buy it, or do you want to just keep getting mad at her? You can't convert someone. Get a bullhorn, go to the Santa Monica boardwalk and yell at people to convert to Jesus. Try it out. It works the same on people who already have a religion. So you can either stop looking into it, stop talking about it, or just keep yelling.
Yeah.
I don't think she'll make it in New York.
It's too late now.
But the thing is if she started to do ballet for her Instagram, would that not be a happy compromise for the audience?
She might not even be good enough. We don't
Kendahl,
even know.
I swear to God.
We don't even know what she can do.
But I do, no,
She's fine. I've seen some clips. I don't know anything about
But you
ballet.
have?
I've seen some clips.
Okay, but here's the thing. So, I mean, you do comedy. You started comedy.
I started it. No, I'm the
I
owner.
mean, like, you went to acting school and
Yeah.
you were going the traditional route.
Yeah.
And then you are on social media. You do the traditional route as well. But you still get something out of the social media aspect of comedy.
Sure.
Can she not get something out of the ballet aspect of social media?
That's what I'm saying. I think it's hard in this industry. It's just a hard industry. And it's not one that you're owed. And it's not one that you even, like, you can think about it in that way of, like, I'm supposed to. Because I'm telling you, I met so many, like, when you're in this world, you meet the most talented people you can even think up. They're just, like, so talented and beautiful and perfect. And it's like they can't even get a manager. Like, they can't get anything. Like, and they never do. And like that, and they were the most talented person in their high school, and then they were the most talented person in their college, and then all their teachers were like, you're incredible, and they just never book anything.
Yeah.
It's just a really tough industry, and so most people don't. Like, most people don't get it. And so I think most people, it's like they turn a certain age, and it's not, especially when you're like, when I was younger and I loved acting, I got to do plays all the time. But then when you're like trying to book stuff, and I'm sure it's similar as a dancer, you're not getting to do the thing as much anymore. You're just like sending a lot of emails and going and taking a lot of headshots and doing a lot of self-tapes for like a commercial where they're just making you like on camera eat a sandwich for 2 minutes straight.
Yeah.
So it's not really like fulfilling of your passion. And I think at a certain point, some people are like, yeah, I have other things that I think could be more fulfilling than this. So maybe I'll like stop doing this and like do community theater instead, and also like have a family. And I'm like, to me, that is great if that's what you want to do, because it is really hard and not always fulfilling. And at the end of it, you might not ever have anything.
Yeah.
It's not really up to you. Like, you can work super hard and just not get anything. So I just think it's probably similar in the dance world. I don't know anything about the dance world, but I would assume.
I think social media is a real career. And so if she is posting videos of herself dancing, she has not actually given up on a lot of her ballerina aspirations. And I think that it's the more accessible route. Is she on stage? No, because she couldn't make it. But she is still, I'm sorry. But yes, I understand what you're saying. I do want to read a comment from this article. I don't have any issue with her life choices, provided they are her choices. I do have an issue with her and all social media, quote, influencers presenting a curated and fake portrait of their, quote, perfect lives. Farming is hard work. Parenting is hard work. Running a business is hard work. Doing ... all these things well is not realistic, and to present it any other way is dangerous and irresponsible. Okay, so continued. So you have an issue with the way it's being presented, and I need to stress this. The quote, social media is fake. At this point in what we're at in social media, the feed is curated to you.
So you're fake.
This is what you are consuming. You're right. And so like when I hear the term individual, I know that social media fake. I understand what you mean. That's geared more towards aesthetic influencers. Because when I hear it, I'm watching people doing book reviews, people crying, people talking about world events. The illusion that social media has put on shattered for me a long time ago. Like, it's clunky, it's messy, it's grainy. There's notifications flickering on the back screen. You know what I mean?
Well, and also, I'm sorry. If I want to consume fake media, let me.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch someone's, like when people are like, we share the good and the bad. I'm like, actually, keep the bad. I'm not interested. I'm trying to eat my lunch. Just make content that is fully peaceful, and I can just watch Ballerina Farms crack 90 eggs with a smile on her face. I don't want to see anything else, because I'm like, why don't you, instead of getting all your knowledge in the world from the internet in a way that you're like, well, everything's fake on the internet, so now I think everyone is better than me, and I have this low self-confidence. Why don't you get off the fucking internet for 10 minutes and go talk to a person?
Yeah.
Like, if you're so warped that people are like, well, I started hating myself because all I did was watch people on the internet live these great lives. I'm like, okay, that's not their fault. Like, they're making a specific type of content. Stop watching it and go talk to a person. Yeah. And you'll very quickly be like, oh, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Like, I will have that all the time on the internet where I'm like reading comments on like a political video, and I am just like, oh my God. Like, these, you're listening to teenagers go back and forth, and you just feel crazy where you're like, oh my God, is this the world we live in? Like, these people are nuts. These people are so insane. And then it's like, just leave the internet for 20 minutes and go talk to like 8 of your friends who are like, yeah, that's crazy. I don't know why they would say that. So to me, I'm just like, that's on you as the viewer. You have to, like, in the same way that you decide what your children watch, you need to decide for yourself. Like, there's some people I just don't follow on Instagram because every time I'd see a photo of them, it'd make me feel bad about myself. Yeah. It's not their fault. I don't think they should, like, edit their body to make them look worse. That's
what I've been doing.
That's what I'll tell people. That's what I've been doing, too. I do this weird thing. But it's not their fault. You know what I mean? And I understand there is obviously a balance in everything where it's like, if you're a person who's followed by a bunch of young girls and every time you Facetune, but also it's your fault if you can't tell if a photo's Facetune. Get some media literacy.
Yeah, the thing is like, what's the quote? Be the change you want to see in the world. Normally, like, okay, so we're talking to a bigger audience right now, but if you think of yourself as an individual, you cannot change people. Try to get someone to get sober. You can't do it. And in a similar way, you can't end the trad wife thing. What you can do, what is in your power, is to stop watching it or block it. And then that's, if a bunch of people do that collectively, this is why voting works, is that you can cause major change. And so then what I would recommend is also start building up, replying to, engaging with the influencers you do want to see built up. Because you ever see those like videos where it's like every hate comment is engagement? The same is true for like every supportive comment. If you want to see the people you think should thrive, you as an individual have got to be the change. Yeah. Because this is the Barbara Streisand effect. You know, the California Environmental Protection Agency went down the entire coast of California to take, just gradual pictures to talk about erosion. Barbara Streisand finds out there's a picture of her house on the internet. At that point, only 4 people had seen it, right? 2 of her lawyers and then 2 people from the Environmental Protection Agency. She sued, and when she did and she talked about it, now millions of people were searching, what does Barbara Streisand's house look like? So you talk about how much you hate trad wives. You're going to Barbara Streisand affect them. People will be like, what should I hate about them? I didn't know anything until we started talking about this. I'm not mad about it. But I'm saying, like, you as an individual, just don't talk about it. Block it, build up someone else. Yeah. And then be the change.
Yeah. True.
And if you're gonna try to make it in New York, you better have a backup plan.
Good luck. Because let me tell you, 5 years there, I was about ready to marry a man and move to a farm. Okay?
No, seriously, before the internet, I was thinking about marrying a man in the military.
Me too, and I had a girlfriend.
You're like, I really got it.
I need more money. That city will eat you. That city, when people compare New York to LA, I'm like, do not even try. Living in New York is like living in hell. It's terrible. Sorry if you're a New Yorker. Genuinely, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
because you live in New York.
But I love Los Angeles. I would never talk bad about this city.
Never. No, New York is wonderful, but if you live there long enough, I understand moving to a farm and having a man pay. I mean, of course, it's so hard. Listen, if she comes out and says this is all a ruse and that she's been going through it, Ballerina, you can do your little PK turns all the way over my house and I will apologize to you straight to your face.
Mm-hmm.
But as of now, I have no sympathy for a mediocre dancer. I'm just kidding. She's probably amazing. I have no idea. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
We hope you're having a great Wednesday. I'm so scared. There's like a 17-year-old right now wearing ballerina shoes, getting ready to get on the train to New York. And she's like, I might as well not go.
Also, follow your dreams.
Yes, of course.
Don't be delusional. Don't be afraid to fail. And if you want to, choice, you move to Utah, do it.
Yes, and say you did it. Like that is, and also you might make it. I'm not saying
you might.
Listen,
you're
I'm
not her.
Saying you won't. Yeah, you're better a dancer than she. Just kidding. I have no. You might make it.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, it's not like back in the day where you just showed up with a pretty face and they put you on the telly.
Yep,
it doesn't work like that anymore.
No, you gotta build a following online. You gotta do some turns in some tiny little painties. And
what did you call them?
Painties.
Painties.
And you got to act oblivious to when people comment on your butt cheeks until you get a good old manager.
Listen, we
are here.
Are giving good advice. Thank you so much for being here. Happy Wednesday. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you are listening with your good old ears on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or really, I'll say it, anywhere you get your podcast, make sure to rate us. And have a wonderful, wonderful week.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.